I was just listening to a podcast about psychogenic seizures.
Like they're not real. People are just bringing them on
Yeah,
themselves.
it's a podcast called Hysteria, where you can, in groups, traditionally it's with women, so you run the risk of sounding sexist, but it's predominantly with women.
Well, I'm half
where
man. I'm half man, so it's fine.
Yeah, they can develop like seizure-like symptoms or Tourette-like syndrome just from like the social element of it. It's all, like in high schools or something, people have like a weird tick, and then it'll actually be a contagion. But it's not measurable.
Oh, okay.
So like you have a tick,
and
I pick up that.
Yeah, and it's completely real to your experience. Like you're not, I'm just doing this for attention. It's not that at all.
So I always have a problem with that. Like when people are like, this is my truth. This is my reality. I'm like, well, it either is or it is not. And so I have a problem with some of that stuff. But that makes sense, what you just said.
Yeah, but so that depends on how you view reality.
Yeah, well,
truth, I think, is a little different. I think truth is a little more like there is either truth, it's either truth or it is not. But I think reality,
black, white, yep.
And I guess I'm contradicting myself because your lens is completely different than mine. Your perception of reality is going to be different than mine. So my reality, we may live, there's some crossover and consistency between our two perceptions of reality, but we don't even know, we may put the same word on, like we may say that's a brown cabinet, but the way you perceive brown may be completely different than me.
Remember us talking about this when we were kids?
Were we smoking weed?
Probably. But like when we were like, no one sees what we see. And you've had the quote like, you're the only person that knows how to feel when you walk into a room. Is that your quote? Something like that.
Well, no, I think what you're talking about is I said that you don't know what it's like to perceive Jonathan walking into a room. So we rely on, so to say we don't care what other people think or what other people think doesn't matter to us or is irrelevant to us, I feel like it can't be true because your perception of yourself is a response to the way you are perceived by others, whether you want it to be or not. Because when you, how I experience you is relying upon my perception. And then that sort of reflects back to you. And you can't live without that unless you live in isolation. What do you think? You're a therapist.
You're talking about the Johari window.
Joharian window?
Johari window.
Johari window.
Johari, yeah.
Johari's window?
Did you say bon me?
Yeah, there's things that like this person knows about me and I know about me. There's things that this person knows about me that I don't know about me. And there's things that neither of us know about me.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
The other... Okay, you're flipping my mind now. I'm trying to think about that. Okay,
the weirdest thing is there's stuff that like even the closest person, like your wife or something, right?
Yeah.
There is stuff that neither of you know about you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
That's fucking weird.
But that's
we
probably...
like to walk around thinking we're just fully self-aware of ourselves.
But are you talking about psychologically, or like he could have some kind of like
don't diagnose me.
Like illness?
Don't diagnose me.
Yeah, that could be true, but I was meaning psychologically.
Okay.
Like,
well, I definitely have that, but
so I think that's a big part of development in life is like how do we develop less blind spots?
Blind spots. I do have a lot of those.
Because the thing, and often we need a guide or someone to reflect back to us what they see. Because if you have like a cowlick on the back of your head, you need 2 mirrors to see it. Because if you're just staring at a mirror, obviously you can't see the back of your head.
Fuck. Now you're flipping.
So therapy is like that second mirror.
Well, I've been in therapy, and it's been good, but I do have blinders on. I've noticed that like I'm like super hyper focused on something, and that's part of ADHD or ADD or whatever, my limbic blah, blah,
yeah,
blah,
the
blah,
same
blah.
shit. Yeah.
So I have that where I focus on like one fucking thing, and it won't leave.
Yeah.
And so
what do you call it if you hyper focus on lots of things, but you never see them to fruition because you are so obsessed with hyper focusing on many things, and it's not possible to.
I think that's also symptomatic of ADHD.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's me.
We're all
Yep.
fucked.
All right, let's go get some meds.
Listen, I'm gonna take this fucking nicotine patch out.
Start puking in the RV all over me.
Fucking throw up.
Well, so I'm going to just give us a little introduction here. Welcome For the Birds fans. We have with us my good friend, therapist, a musician, an artist. I call you a Renaissance man when I'm referring to you, when I'm talking about you. Evan Miller. Evan and I have known each other for how long?
14 years.
14 years. He's a great dude. He's a young buck. How old are you?
32.
Fuck you.
I'm not as young as I once was.
That's true. And you never will be.
No.
No.
How old were you when we met?
I was 18.
18 years old.
Yep.
Holy shit. So
And you were probably my age?
around
30.
Yeah, around 30. I remember when I first met you, we met in, if you're okay with me talking about this, we met in 12-step recovery and at NA meetings in Davidson. And you had long hair, I think. Maybe you didn't have long hair yet. No, your hair was short.
No, I was short.
You had short hair,
yeah.
but you just kind of were like a punk kid.
Yeah.
That's how at 30 years old, seeing 18-year-old you, I was like, who is this punk kid?
Yeah.
And then we talked, and I'm like, oh, he's actually pretty cool. But you still kind of had that punk kid mentality. And I've watched you become you're one of the most we're talking about self-awareness. You're one of the most self-aware people I know. Super smart guy. I think you're very successful at what you've done. And you really are. You're one of those guys that can you can put your focus on something and you know how to take the steps to achieve what you want, it seems, and find the success in certain things. But we were making a joke on an interview we did on another podcast recently where Jonathan said we need more therapists on. And I had been talking to you, or we need a therapist on because we need more therapy. And you and I had already talked about having you on, and you texted me, I think, and you said, you need a therapist on.
Yeah. Because I saw that reel about you guys connecting with your own sadness.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that was when we did our episode where Jonathan cried like a baby.
You trauma bond with the artist.
We were talking about that with Elliott Smith
Elliott
the other day.
Smith.
Yeah, Elliott
Yeah.
Smith is who I trauma bond with.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, crying's good though. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's a release for me, and that's why I do it. I do it more now than I ever have.
That's great. It means there's not as much of like an ego barrier.
Is that what that means?
Yeah, because we can access.
Everyone says I'm an egomaniac and a narcissist.
Well, if you guys both have kids, and that's the best mirror of like where we want to return to. So we put all this emphasis on a development to adulthood. Yeah, in all actuality, our kids teach us a hell of a lot of how to be human.
Mm-hmm.
So they have way less barrier to expression and emotion, and we learn throughout life how to conceal it. Right. To be an adult is to not be expressive. To be a man is to not show sadness. And so,
Do you think that's the only reason? Because I find that I consider myself a pretty emotional person, but I very rarely cry. I get.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
Are you? So, and I don't feel like there's a machismo to it. I don't feel like it's not manly to cry. Often I'm like, God, I wish I could cry right now, but I don't. I feel things really deeply, but it doesn't seem to. It's like there's something that blocks it from the internal emotion, the internal dialogue, whatever's happening within my mind that allows, it's not allowing it to flow and have like a physical response.
It's the head and heart journey.
Yeah. I find myself with that.
I get that too. Like when I'm putting my kids down to bed and they're like falling asleep.
Yeah.
I just start fucking bawling.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
With relief.
I don't know what.
I think it's
It's
relief.
like gratitude.
You're like,
Maybe.
thank God I finally get some
You're just
time.
beaten down all through the day. You're
I'm
like,
crying because I don't want to be here. But like, yeah, like with like having kids and stuff like that, and and a wife, and you have a family too. Like, I just find myself like getting emotional, like super emotional about everything.
I remember when I first got clean, when I first stopped all substances, dude, I was crying over commercials. I was crying over everything. I think what that is, I think it's like the drugs, the alcohol become like you're blinded by
A
you're
numbing agent.
obscuring
It's a layer.
you're obscuring things, and now it's like, oh, I really feel things, and it's overwhelming. It's like it's too much at moments,
I cried this morning. I was like just fucking bawling for no reason.
You got up to take the piss.
I didn't know. Yeah, I'm like pissing, and I'm
look
like,
down, you're
oh
like,
my god, my kid. And like when I drop my kids off at school, like when I see them walk out of the car, I'm like, oh god, it's so weird.
I did almost cry 2 days ago, and I'll tell you, this is not a funny story, but it was a scary story. So 4 people picked my kids up from school: me, Regina, my mom, or her mom. If anybody's ever doing it, there's only 4 people that have that are like on the
access.
Yeah, have the access to pick them up and are authorized to pick them up. And
So no weird vans.
yeah, that can never happen. There's like a code you have to have and all this stuff.
Scooby-Doo
Like,
van.
Want some
pick-
candy?
yeah. And so Regina asked me to pick up the kids. I said yes. So I knew her mom wasn't going to pick up the kids. She drives a Miata. It's a 2-seater, so she wasn't going to pick them up without coming over to the house and getting a car. My mom would be the only other option, and we never talked to her about it. Regina would always be the one to coordinate that, so she asked me to do it, to get them that day. I go to school, go through car line. They're like, okay, and then the lady looked at me kind of funny, and then it takes forever to go around the car line, and I get in front of the school, and she's like, somebody already picked Bronwyn up. And I'm like, no, nobody did. It's just supposed to be me. She goes in, looks, she comes back out. She said, yeah, 100%. She left. And so I like stopped my car in the middle of the car line, got out. People are all pissed off. And I was like, I just lost my shit. One of the bus drivers was like looking at me like, what's up, man? And I was like, fucking deal with it. And
what a terrible dad you are.
yeah, I go inside and I'm raising hell. And finally, my mom calls me. She had her calendar mixed up. Was supposed to pick them up the following week and pick them up that day. And so I was relieved. It was nothing, obviously. And all the staff was looking for her, and they calmed down. And I go out to my car, and as soon as like I got in my car, it was like flooded with emotion. And I didn't cry, not because I don't know
real
why.
man.
No, I was like,
Tough guy.
I won't do it. I won't do it.
I don't think I've ever seen you cry.
It is fucking hot in here. I'm hot now.
Well,
Why did we decide to do it in this RV?
Maybe
we can turn the AC on. I don't know how the sound's gonna sound.
Terrible.
I'm not
You
that
think
hot.
so?
Okay, good.
It's maybe your boot. Take those boots off. Yeah.
Take your pants off.
Maybe it should be our goal to get.
Take your shirt. I'll take my. If we're taking shirts off,
I want to talk about.
Do it.
I want to talk about disrobing for a second. A year and a half ago, I would have had no problem disrobing. I've gotten really out of shape this past year. I've not been eating well. I've only been doing jujitsu, no other exercise, and I put on some weight. And I just started a nice workout and diet routine this
P90X.
week. No,
I gave you a smoothie when you got here.
I started AG1.
You
Thanks,
pooped
Joe Rogan.
when you got here too.
I pooped when I got here, and I committed to going to, because I've been only doing like 1 or 2 jujitsu classes a week and no other exercise. So I'm going and I'm like, guys that I used to keep up with, I'm gassing like way before them. And
Is that how you got a black eye?
Yeah, you got his ass beat.
I don't know how this happened. It might have been a woman that did
You
this.
blocked it out.
I don't know.
You blocked it out.
But so I'm like, I'm 45. I'm like, I can't let this happen. I gotta get on top of this. So
I'll take my.
give me 6 months.
Me. I'll take
give
my
me 6
fucking
months and I'll
clothes
take
off.
my clothes off on the podcast. Okay.
I always take my clothes off. You know how I roll.
That's all I need. I need 6.
Wait, so is the goal to get to Jason to cry on the podcast today?
I'll cry on the podcast.
I'm the one that cries all the time. I'm the fucking cry.
You can't get me to cry. I am
I can get
Made
you
of
to,
fucking
I can get you,
steel.
I could say one thing to you.
I'm made of steel.
and it would make you cry.
What is it?
I'll tell you later.
Okay, say it now.
No,
All right.
because it'll make you cry. I know it.
All right.
I know for me, the blocking from having like an immense tearfulness is I, in my 20s, developed this skill set to analyticalize my emotion or intellectualize to find the why. And in the
What
past,
do you mean by the why?
Like, why am I feeling
like
this way?
why I like going into assessment. I would write about what I was feeling. I would draw connections, past present connections to what I was feeling. I would just do an overall intellectual assessment and think about like what I said, how I could have said it differently, or like project what could have been different in the future, all that shit.
Yeah.
And so my brain is in
I do that.
overdrive,
Yeah.
and I'm not actually sitting with myself to actually experience whatever the feeling is. So if I zoom out and think about it, what I was unintentionally doing was protecting myself from
Like avoidance.
vulnerable emotion. So it's under the guise of I'm being hypersensitive to self by overviewing all of this. But the process of it was that I was avoiding emotion.
I do that too, but it comes out as anger, and I project it on, unfortunately, the people I love the most, and I hold it all in, and then I just like recycle it, and then I wait for it, and then I have a bomb, and I throw it out to people, which I shouldn't do, and that's I don't know what the fuck that means.
Well, when we store emotions for long periods of time, it negatively impacts our nervous system. So there's a red, orange, yellow, and green zone in our nervous systems.
I'm in the red.
Like when you're lashing out, you'd probably be orange or red. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. But I just store everything up. And then I save it, I put it in a bank, and then I fucking cash out. And I'm like...
Yeah, it's like if you go on a hike and you just keep putting bricks in your backpack, after a while you're like, fuck this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gets heavy. I gotta
drop it on everyone else around me.
Fuck all you guys. No one else is carrying these bricks. So I'm going to lash out at you at the top of this mountain.
Right.
Well, I mean, is it better to like slowly get rid of it? Like if you have something, say it immediately.
3 shits a day.
You took 2 shits already in my house.
Dude, I don't think I've ever shit 3 times in a day.
Are you serious?
Really?
Dude, do you guys wake up and shit?
No.
Yes.
I think that is the weirdest thing.
No. Here's what I do. Here's what I do.
That's happened a handful of times.
He shits 5 times a day.
No. It depends. That I have shit 5 times a day.
I think that's IBS, bro.
I probably have IBS.
He shits in his hands, his pants,
all those
everywhere.
gas station pizzas you're sneaking on the way back from jiu-jitsu.
No. I don't do that. Listen, here's what it is. The healthier I eat, the more I shit. I don't know what that's about. But here's the thing.
More fiber, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But so, first thing in the morning. I don't shit first thing in the morning. I get up after a cup of coffee. It's like I'm not ready. My bowels aren't working yet. They're still moving real slow. Once they wake up, it's normally like an hour or 2 after I am up. Then I'm taking a shit. And if I don't take a shit, then my whole day's fucked.
Your day is ruined.
Yeah.
Whole day's ruined if I don't take that shit. Yeah. And once I've taken that shit, then I'm like, we're gonna have a great day.
That's when you know it's a great day.
I know it's gonna be a great day because I didn't have to carry that shit around with me all the time, like those bricks you're holding.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah,
metaphor.
But it's
that.
Also literal because I literally do take that shit.
Yeah, that's actually a load.
And I feel great. But then normally what happens is after I eat whatever the first meal is of the day, like 30 minutes later I gotta shit again, and I'm like, fuck. But it's not like that first shit.
You might want to you should get checked out.
Dude, people used to tell me that when I realized I was lactose intolerant. I would just rip ass and it'd be sulfur farts. And that's what people tell me. They're like, dude, you need to go to a doctor.
I'm lactose intolerant too. Like I can't drink any. If I eat ice cream, I'm literally.
I've had people
shitting my pants.
Yeah, I have to steer clear of ice cream.
I've had people get mad at me for farting.
Yeah.
Like actually mad
don't
at me.
fucking fart in here then.
No, I've been eating. All right, so you're probably safe.
There's what is it that I was taking? Is it chia seeds? Is that what makes you have like this chia? Is that what makes you have like the worst smelling shits and farts? Or is it
no, stop taking them.
There was something Regina was giving me for a while, putting to put in my smoothies and stuff that was like
probably chia seeds, yeah.
And
Whitney does that stuff too.
It was like I would have to get far away from people for like need 30-40 seconds to let this clear off, and I stopped taking it. I don't know if it was chia seeds.
Well, stop taking it.
I'll remember. Okay.
Yeah, don't take it anymore.
Let's jump into the flow of our podcast. Well, what we do here is we have our guests bring on some songs that would normally 3 songs that would be cornerstones of their life soundtrack.
It's hot as fucking here.
So, and we'll delve into all kinds of fun stuff. But Evan, what is the first song you'd like to discuss that would be on your life soundtrack?
It'd be really egotistical if I just did all of my own songs.
Well,
hey, I got a story about that.
Did you watch our episode?
This is what Jason does.
No.
Oh, did he list all of his own songs?
Yes.
Hold on.
Shit.
No, I didn't.
No, 2 of them.
2 out of 3. But here's the reason why.
And our kids named all your songs too.
They
did.
I
was like, fuck you.
Can I just real quick explain myself here?
You can.
So when we talked about creating this show, the idea was the songs that had the greatest impact on your life. So it's not like just the songs that you enjoy. It's the songs that somehow serve as catalysts to remind you of that time and that place, or maybe had a big impact on you for whatever reason. And we had already had a separate episode where we talked about the song that I talked about, where me, you, and Matt, and
You know what song it was?
the song,
Dylan.
Yeah, Bob Dylan, One Too Many Mornings was the song that like got me to want to be a songwriter. And so I couldn't bring that up. We did a separate episode where it was just he and I, and we picked our song. So I couldn't talk about that song again. So I thought, what songs had the most impact on my life? And My Repair and Distance, out of any other songs that I've experienced from other artists, had the biggest impact on the trajectory of my life. My Repair or Distance got us a record deal, Eric Valentine relationship, all that stuff. It basically solidified,
that you were good enough.
Yes. No, it changed the course of our lives from being just like guys kicking around playing, local venues, to being assigned to a major label band. That's that one song. And then My Repair was not only a moment of self-discovery as a writer for me, that being able to write that song, but it also connected me with Brandy, which I still will say, as much as I wish there was more to have as a foundation, but like a lot of people want to work with me because they heard that I worked with Brandy Carlisle.
Yeah.
And it helped get me a lot of production work over the years.
I get it. I'm just giving you shit.
Yeah.
Because obviously the most profound impacts of songs in my life are my own. Because it's different. You're not just listening to what has already been created. You're more of a part of the process.
Yeah.
So I have a more interconnected relationship with my songwriting than if I'm to turn on a song.
Right.
There's no song that compares to my own because I have my own emotional experience while creating it, but then while like listening back to it, then making production decisions,
and
all sorts of shit.
If my view of songwriting and creativity in general is that it is not an experience that we have only within ourselves. It's not. We are connecting with energy, I believe, and I'm not trying to get I'm not talking about anything overly spiritual here. I'm just talking about connecting to the exchange of energy between us and the world around us. And in that way, it's sort of a collaborative experience. If you're opening yourself up to that, and then you're putting yourself in the flow state of creativity to channel that into something tangible, you're not only having this you have this personal connection with it, but you're also learning what it's like to experience that greater connection and allowing it to be a part of your creative process. And I don't know if everybody acknowledges that, but I think people truly have it who are creating great art.
Yeah, it's like writing as you're listening.
Yeah. Because what else do we have to go on?
But there's a lot of songwriting that's like productive and analytical. And hey, we're gonna write this thing today.
Yes.
I think that's a different experience.
It is a different experience. Yeah.
But there's a song I just finished that I started 7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And then the other night, the rest came.
Right. I've had
that
a lot of
experience is
that's true magic though.
Yeah.
When you have a deadline, which we've had before, and you
kind of disrupts.
It sucks.
Yeah.
When you're we have to make this thing right now.
You can get lucky and that transmission happens, but I think more often than not, it's more pressure.
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
I think if you're brimming with if you feel like you've been if you can feel that outpour, it's ready, and now you have a deadline, because I sometimes work really well under the pressure of deadlines, but yeah, to wait for it to come. I've done that a lot with songs where I'll start them years ago and I just kind of put them aside because I feel like I don't know how the story ends with this song.
Feel like forcing to finish.
Yeah, and either it'll come to me later or it won't, and if it doesn't, fine, the song won't exist. It's not whatever.
Yeah.
But and then later I'll know the ending. I'll know what it's supposed to be. How it comes to life, and maybe I needed to wait for it. Maybe you needed to wait for it.
You experience more, live more.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of cool. Well, maybe we need to make it a rule from now on that if you're a songwriter, you cannot discuss your own songs.
Well, whatever's
I
natural.
don't know about that. That won't happen with you. But
I've done it already. I've already talked about the 2 songs I need to talk about. I don't need to talk about them anymore. All right. Well, so what's your first song?
Let's see.
Let me pull it up here.
I'm gonna need a shower after this.
Let me pull up all the songs.
It's so fucking hot in here. Jesus Christ. I might take my shirt off.
Do it, dude.
You're wearing all black too.
I don't know why. I feel kind of fine, and I'm pretty hot natured.
Yeah.
Oh, look who's up. Jason Scavone right here.
Surprise.
I wasn't in there. That's not my
It's
Spotify.
your face right there.
Yeah, but I didn't put it there.
That's sexy, man.
Yeah.
All right, turn this on.
Let's
We don't.
see.
Let's talk about the song before we listen to it, though. So
Let me just connect to it.
all right. What's your? Well, let's wait till this Viking of a man can.
Hey. All right, what's your song?
We'll come back over here so you're in shot.
I'm going to put...
Single File, Elliott Smith.
All right, don't play it yet.
You know Elliott Smith, Jonathan?
Oh yeah. This man was obsessed with Elliott Smith.
Really?
Me and him both. This was our high school days, high school and college.
This-
More college probably than high school. Because I discovered Elliott Smith really like probably my senior year of high school. Well, hold on, don't play it yet. Don't play it. How many times have we done this podcast?
You need an operations manager.
We do.
This stands right here. Just like, don't do that yet.
When you walked, you created a breeze that was really nice.
Yeah, could you do that again?
Look at those pecs.
Yeah, hell
Look at that
yeah.
chest piece,
Keep
bro.
it tight, dude. Keep it tight for the camera.
Let's go.
It's flexing.
It's so fucking hot in here.
I feel fine, but sorry.
I
guys.
felt good now. There's a little breeze. All right, so talk to us. What's your song?
Elliott Smith, Single File.
Okay.
It's really any song off of his self-titled record. I think Christian Brothers is on there.
Is Roman Candle on that one? Or is that?
I feel like it's Figure Eight.
No.
No?
Figure Eight was... That
Needle
was
in
like
the
his
Hay,
last,
is
one
that-
of his last albums, I think.
Figure
Yeah.
Eight was later, yeah.
It was more produced.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, so-
XOXO, that's like the one that I was obsessed with.
Mm-hmm.
So I played his self-titled record non-stop for like probably a year straight.
Yeah.
That's what I did with Elliott Smith too. I still do that with him and the Smiths. Like I'll go through phases where like for months straight I'll just listen to just
Yep.
that.
I cannot do that with Elliott Smith anymore. Not because I don't love it still, but because, like Evan said, he labeled it, trauma bonding. That's what I did with Elliott Smith. So it will take me right back to that. So I have to be in a special headspace where I feel safe. I feel like this is okay to do. I'm not going to get sucked into it. But why that song? You listened to it for years straight.
Yeah, I will say Elliott Smith sounds better when you're smoking cigarettes.
God, I want a cigarette now.
Yeah, if I listen
Give
to
me
Elliott
one of
Smith,
those
I'm like-
nicotine pouches
I'm
again.
like, where's the
Where's it at?
Give me
me
the
one.
table
right
right
by
there.
that light?
Okay, I'll grab one.
So Single File, I guess we don't need to go through all the lyrics, but from my understanding of the lyrics, it's about like a methadone clinic,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they're in single file waiting for their next fix. Is how I heard it. I mean, maybe that's not what he meant, but it seems to be very pointed towards realities of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, when I was first exposed to Elliott Smith, I was in early recovery, so I wasn't using anything. But I still had, obviously, like all those residual ways of thinking and feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so I might as well have been in active addiction because I was pretty much, I wasn't. But my identity
you're doing
was still there.
everything but the drugs. Like you're still defined.
The way that I think and feel was all a mirror image of when I was using, but also just feeling it even deeper because I wasn't.
Right.
Like what you were talking about.
Yeah. Did you? You don't have to answer, but were you on methadone?
No.
Okay.
I did opiates mostly. Opiates, alcohol, weed.
Well, that's what we did. So
Yeah, I was a part of the opiate pandemic in the 2000s.
yeah.
Where it was almost weird not to do opiates at my high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's how pronounced it was.
Wow.
But when I would listen to Single File or really anything on that record, I have distinct memories of driving this like beat up Dodge Stratus and going to court. Because when I got into recovery, I had court in 5 different counties, and you can't consolidate them. So that means you're going to court every week.
Jeez.
So I was just like going from like Mecklenburg County to Rowan to Gaston to Iredell to I can't even remember the other one.
Wow.
So I was scared shitless
Yeah.
and
of course.
listening to Elliott Smith and trying to like grieve the loss of this like really sick relationship I had when I was using all at the same
You
time.
grieve the loss of using.
Well, that too. The relationship with a girl,
Oh, okay.
but it's
okay.
very. I mean, it's very, very similar.
Right,
I would
yeah,
say
yeah.
so.
But yeah, I was certainly in a grief process with addiction at that time too.
How did you get sober though? Like I always that's such an open-ended question because people get sober in many different ways.
Yeah.
I've gotten sober in many different ways. Jason's gotten sober in many different ways, but I don't know. Like, was it like a day when you were like, "Fuck this, I'm done," or did you get scared out of it? Those are two different things.
My experience, not just with myself, but with others I've seen, I used the analogy about, like, say there's a 100-car train, and there's one car that has an opening, and you close your eyes, you hear the train come, and you hear it passing by, and then you jump when you think the open car is there. That's the likelihood of recovery.
Fuck.
So, like, the way that functions for me is there's all of these complexities of consequence that created a culmination to take the risk to leap into that open cart.
Wow. Okay. A risk to get sober. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah,
You're taking a risk.
it feels
to get
like
sober.
a risk, right? It's like
Yeah.
I'm losing
I never
something.
thought of it that way.
I have to reconstruct my identity.
That's a big part of
I
it.
might fail
Shit.
at this. I might realize I really am trapped forever.
Yeah, that was a big
Right,
thing for me is
right.
like the whole fear of reconstructing my identity, because when I got clean, there was a period of time for quite a while where I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I felt. I didn't know what I liked and what I disliked. And it was scary because, you know, just weeks before I had felt very confident in who I was. And here I am now thinking, man, everything I've thought and felt for the past year, however many years, has not, like, things I felt so confident about, I couldn't identify
Yeah,
with
you
them
start
anymore.
to question everything.
Yeah.
Do you think you're yourself? Like when when we used or when you used, do you feel like you're yourself or you're a totally different person? So there, I always think I don't know. There's got to be a balance.
I think I became a totally different person. I don't identify.
Acted differently.
Yeah. So here's the big thing. I always felt internally like a good person with good intentions, the same Jason that I am right now.
Yeah.
But what my actions didn't align with my intentions. And so I would lie to myself about who I was, because internally I'm like, I'm this good guy. I have empathy. I love people. I'm kind. I care for others. I like to do
But I
good
have
things.
this,
But I do all these things that
right,
contradict
right.
that. And so I didn't. It took me a while to unlearn that behavior, but also, which is truly me. You know, which one is
Right.
truly who I am. And so I definitely became a person who was capable of lying, you know, being deceitful, hurting others, criminal activity, all the things
Sure.
that you know go along with being in active addiction. That's the thing I was saying earlier. It's like, which is truly you? The way that you're perceived by the world, or the internal dialogue?
Well,
you know?
I think that's my question. Is because a lot of that when I was an addict, and that is me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's me. That's who I am. But I have I argue with myself about, like, is it a disease, or is it just something I wanted to do because I wanted to do it then?
This isn't the DSM-5 is how we diagnose. So what I'm about to say is not part of that. It's more of a theory. I believe that there's people who abuse, and then there's people who are addicts. Because there's people that can do stuff really hardcore.
Can you be both?
Yeah, so if you could be the abuser and addict, but you could
Okay.
also just be the addict or just the abuser.
So
Well,
the
it's
addict
like-
who's not the abuser is somebody who has the predisposition, but never, like, circumstantially, they never find themselves.
The example I would give to simplify all of it would be, and I've seen this before, right? You have someone who, say they use coke all the fucking time, and their wife's pregnant, and they quit. Right? They're like, oh, I'm gonna be a father. Another person uses coke all the time. Their wife gets pregnant. They might try to manage it a bit, but by the time delivery comes, they're in the fucking the hallway bathroom of the delivery doing lines.
Right. That's the addict.
Yeah.
Right. But so my question though is,
like they're both using the same amount.
right.
Yeah.
But so that to me, that distinction's easy to make. But if addiction is a disease, we're predisposed to it.
Yeah.
It's not contagious, right? So
Well, socially,
but again, socially, there could be 4 people in a room, or let's just simplify, 2 people in a room, and they're exposed to the same group of drug users. One of them's an addict, one of them is not. One could become the abuser, one could become the addict. So they both expose themselves to the same possible outcome. They caught the disease, right, through social whatever, but through proximity. But so then let's take it a step back for a second. What about the person who's born with the disease, the predisposition to be an addict, but is never put in the situation to even be exposed to drugs or alcohol?
Yeah, there's studies about twins with this. So that
Right.
would be like an identical gene.
Mm-hmm.
And one twin will not develop addiction and the other will when both their parents are addicts.
Right. Okay.
Because humans are constructed in 5 components: bio, psychosocial, or 4: bio, psychosocial, spiritual. And you have all these different predispositions on all 4 of those constructs that will create a sum of who you are.
Right.
So that's why if you're twins and one develops addiction and the other doesn't, that they have the same exact biological component, but the other 3, like the social, psychological, and spiritual, can't possibly be identical, right? They may, one of the twins might have received a lot more praise and been the golden child, right?
Sure,
They did everything
sure.
right. Maybe the other twin was a bit smaller and not as talented, and then the parent is overly critical
Like
and always
life
comparing them
influences.
to the bigger twin, or the twin that comes out first. They often find is perceived as the older brother.
That makes sense.
So there's trillions of variables that influence what we do, but we want to say, that twin that didn't develop addiction is angry at their twin for being an addict. Will probably say, well, I just made the decision. They will conceptualize it that way. But in all actuality, I don't believe that we make near as many decisions as we think.
That's kind of freeing, actually.
Yeah.
Because I always viewed it because of, what my addiction and all that stuff. I'm like, I'm making a decision to do this because I like to do this.
In that moment, it is the decision.
Full stop.
Right.
Like that. Like that's what I want to do right now.
But you have all that stuff prior to that, like, was a river that pushed that sail to that place.
Jesus Christ, we're all in the same boat. Fuck. We're gonna figure it out.
So, going back to how one gets clean, and I like
put
your
my shirt back
analogy
on.
about like the train and how
car.
rare how the small percentage of people who are in active addiction and that get clean.
Because there's plenty of people that want to get into that cart fully,
Right.
but don't.
But you and I think, are similar in that we had external circumstances. I mean, we brought them on ourselves,
Yeah.
but that led us to
Oh, yeah, it's a big part.
to the doorway, right? I mean, so like we both had legal trouble. Yours more than mine, but
Yours was pretty bad.
not like him.
Well,
Not like him. I was charged with a felony, but I wasn't convicted of a felony.
Yeah,
So-
my plea deal was a felony for 6 years.
Yeah.
A mandatory 6 years.
Yeah.
what the fuck did
So
you?
when I
what
first
the fuck did you do?
when I first met Evan, that was
6
one of the
years.
things that I remember you dealing with, and what made me really like connect with you was
You connected to my trauma.
no. Well, I felt like man, this kid, like, he's here in meetings just like me. I'm 12 years older, however much older, and I am, trying to get clean. He's trying to get clean, and he's got his whole life ahead of him, and there's this one thing, this terrible decision that he made that could fuck up his whole life, and he's still choosing to be here in these meetings trying to get clean, when I know for me at that age, it would have been a lot easier to say, fuck it, I'm going to go do destructive things instead.
Yeah.
And I was impressed by it. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I don't, so that I'm sure like both of us, I had I was arrested. I was I had to, part of the sentence was going to treatment, right? And going to 12-step programs. Same was that as well with you? Because if I remember, for a while you weren't allowed to leave your house. We had to bring meetings to your house.
Yeah, when I went to treatment, I didn't want to go. I
Right.
probably wouldn't have went without those culmination of consequences in addiction. Like my motivation to go to treatment was to create a paper trail that I was engaging in recovery.
Right.
And then that
So you were
process
trying to
of
manipulate the system.
Yeah, the process of recovery happened over a period of time, despite my own will, like
Right.
against my own will.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember myself being like, I'm gonna whatever I have to do to placate these people.
Yeah, because
Do
that's
what
what
you
we
need to do.
That's what
Yeah.
we knew
Yeah.
how to do.
Yeah.
Is like, how do I placate? How do I manipulate to do the least amount of effort possible and get everyone off my back? That was how I functioned in life.
I still do that.
Yeah.
Well, and that time, do you feel like were you a big music person already? Was like, listening to Elliott Smith, like how did that was that something you had always done, like find music that you could that helped sort of create that emotional support for you while you were
I
feeling
think it was
self-pity?
like, yeah, a lot of my music at that point was, how do I find a justification for what I'm feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was in high school, I listened to 90s rap and I was selling drugs.
Yeah.
Like I needed that echo
Right,
to give me
right.
feedback, to be like, hey, you're not alone. We do this stuff too. It's not crazy.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
It's like I needed this justification for what I was feeling or doing.
Right.
I love 90s rap though.
Yeah.
it's
That's
fan-
fucking
it's really
tight.
good.
But now when I listen to it, I just think about all that crazy shit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
I'll turn it on sometimes.
Yeah, it's nostalgic.
Yeah, I would be in the car and making my mom listen to Biggie.
I love Biggie.
Biggie's, like,
Our generation of rap was good.
amazing, yeah.
Some of the new shit that's coming out, man, once SoundCloud rap
Fucking
started,
Out-
it was the downfall.
Dude, Outkast is a sleeper cell.
Oh, Outkast
Like I
is
turn on
amazing.
some Outkast randomly, I'm like, holy shit.
Dude, Bombs Over
They're
Baghdad.
fucking great,
fucking
man.
amazing.
Yeah, that's when like most rappers that were successful had serious talent,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just,
You have mumble rap now and all
Yeah.
this weird shit.
yeah, it's like people love it because it sounds like shit. It's like that's part of the genre, is it sounds like it was recorded on
Yeah.
somebody's iPhone
Yeah.
or something. Well, let's listen to Elliott Smith
Oh yeah.
and
I'm not gonna
Single
cry.
File.
Somebody will.
Let's hear it.
Open the darkness.
Here a night where stupid shit collides with dying shooting stars. All we got to show what they really are is the same kind of scars. And looking at you, all I see is you're waiting for something single file. You murder mine, you idiot kid. Your arms got a death in
Get my shit together. Who knows if it'll get together? Fuck.
Well, we want our feeling to be in the passenger seat, not in the driver's seat. So we want to have a direct line to connect with it, but we don't want our 5-year-old emotional self taking control of the wheel.
I definitely do that. Yes. No. that
And we
makes-
also don't want
yeah.
to throw them in the trunk either, right? Because that's not good.
Well, and it's real too to me. Like when I have feelings,
Oh, yeah.
like I want other people to know what I'm feeling, and that's
And in that moment, it's the hardest to communicate that.
Yeah.
and I do it the wrong way
Oh yeah,
half the time.
because we're activated.
Most of the time. Yeah. So like that's my problem is like like if I'm feeling something, I want everyone else in the room to feel it with me. And if they don't, then I'm pissed.
That would explain. I'm hurt. I need someone else to feel hurt, so the anger comes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I spread it. That's terrible.
Yeah, I think it's deriving from this belief that people can't empathize with me; they need to endure with me.
Well, so yeah, I get that, but I'm also very apathetic too. Like, I say that. I'm not. I'm empathetic. I just use that as like a defense. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah. And but I do. I give all the fucks.
It's like the guy that walks in the room and announces he doesn't care what anyone thinks. It's like, you care more than anyone else here. Why did you say that? No one asked you.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody thinks about me. Fuck you.
I do that, and also I scan the room too. I'm like, ooh, and I'll scan the room and see what I can do to the room.
Look at you. You are a narcissist.
Fuck you.
Like a real magician.
I am too, though, so it's all right. I think. Maybe not truly.
Jason's definitely a narcissist.
I'm not a narcissist. Am I?
No.
Come on. All right.
No.
I'm not either.
Partially.
I'm not either. I'm the smartest guy here, so I'm not.
You got to be careful watching any kind of pop psychology reels because everyone's a fucking narcissist.
Oh God.
Everyone's ex is a narcissist.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, dude, that's not how that works. That's like 0.01% of the population.
Yeah.
We all have narcissistic traits because with any personality disorder, what that is just a compilation of common traits, but they're exaggerated.
Yeah, and I follow through with them every day, all day. We'll figure it out.
Well, I have a question here about Elliott Smith. So this is something I've thought about. So we're drawn to people like Elliott Smith, probably because we've talked about this before, Jonathan, like it's a commiserating experience listening to an artist like Elliott Smith when you feel the echo. Like this person feels what I feel. They know true, like, angst and sadness, and he's able to express it so eloquently and so beautifully in his music
and tenderly,
yes.
Which is,
but
very
so
interesting.
do we need as humans is Elliott Smith a martyr? Because like artists like Elliott Smith it's essentially what he is, right? I mean, he endures all this pain, this misery to create this beautiful art for us, so that we have this person that we can connect with and help validate our feelings. But really what would have been best for Elliott Smith is to find recovery, get better, get healthy, get well, live a fulfilling, fruitful life. We would all want that for him, but then we wouldn't have Elliott Smith. What if Elliott Smith got clean and got his life together before he started writing all these amazing songs? We'd never have Elliott Smith music. Or maybe we would. Maybe it'd be way different, though.
You said he did it for us. I don't know if he did it for us.
I'm not saying he intentionally did it for us. I'm saying the purpose he served humanity was for us. If you step outside of the headspace of Elliott Smith and you just look at it objectively, like what he did, he truly impacted a lot of people, right?
Sure.
With his music. So and when we get to experience at the times that we were obsessed with Elliott Smith, it was for us, you know, and I'm sure every fan of Elliott Smith feels that way. And so I think about this a lot with artists who I've admired over the years who had these tragic lives. And I'm like, do we require that as humanity? Why does that have to be the case? You know, what would Elliott Smith have been without the tragedy? Would he have created art as powerful? Would we be talking about him?
I don't think I would write at all without tragedy.
I don't either. But
I would have no need.
Right, but do you feel like? But for you, is it the contrast? Because you live a pretty healthy life now.
Yeah.
Is it the ability to find the contrast? Like
it's having gone there, I can revisit where it comes to me.
Right. Yeah. I think that's true for me as well.
But if I was just happy-go-lucky golden retriever personality, I wouldn't be songwriting.
Right. But unless you're like, I mean, I'm not saying this person is that way, but his music, like somebody like Pharrell, his music is perceived that way. A lot of it's just fun, happy music. There are a lot of people who create in that realm and do it really well, and I love listening to that music sometimes. But you, I think, similar to me, and I know Jonathan's this way too, with the creative musical experience, we pull from tragedy a lot. We like that. The comfort in being sad.
We can't get away from it. I
that?
can't get away from it.
Yeah.
I know you can't.
Yeah,
you can.
We're more familiar with it.
Yeah, and that's where I'm comfortable writing, and I know you are, and listening too, because you can relate to, like, not necessarily tragedy, but like tough things in life.
Yeah.
and relating to that because life is fucked up, man. And
Dude, there was this time I was in therapy a couple years ago, and I realized how fucked I was, where she had given me this assignment to do some yoga and then lie flat on my back and try to channel joy.
that's what I do.
But what happened is I had all these emotional flashbacks to the absence of joy, and I was empathizing with that visceral sadness.
It's flip-flopped on
And then I
you.
was like, hell yeah, like I did some work. And then I went back and she's like, what? Like you were supposed to be feeling joy, not like sadness and grief and
Because of
and
the lack of joy.
yeah. Like I was like, I'm connecting to my emotions. She's like, okay, so that's progress. You're connecting to negative emotion, but how are you connecting to positive emotion?
Right.
And that's fucking hard.
That's a different channel. I mean, that's hard. We talked about this too, Jason and I. I'm like, on an episode a few episodes ago, like I was like, sometimes I feel so happy when I'm sad.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing that happens in my brain, and I don't know what it is. And he thinks I'm bipolar.
No, I get the same way. I get the same way. Maybe you are bipolar, but I feel like I relate to that too. I think sadness and art depicting sadness is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yes.
Beautiful.
I
agree. I think we seek it out as people. I think it's necessary. That's kind of when
It's
when
a
I'm talking
bound
about
connection.
guys like Elliott Smith. You know,
it's a bound connection.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna, everyone has it. So.
yeah.
well, and that the deep sadness, I always experience a small ego death.
What do you mean by ego death?
Like my defenses are down. I feel way like more
like
open.
vulnerable?
Yeah, my channels are open when I feel raw.
When you're,
And so it's like I'm intimately connected to something and it just happens to be sadness.
right.
But with joy or something, I still am trying to figure that out.
It's weird with people too. Like when I'm sad, you said it earlier, like I want everyone to be sad with me. When I'm happy, I want everyone to be happy with me. And I feel them both so deeply. I'm never really in the middle. It's either really happy or really sad.
Yeah.
But I want to spread either one. So that's, I guess, a narcissist.
No, you probably are accustomed to what I would call emotional enmeshment, where you want the feelings to be overlapping with people you're connected with,
Right.
or else it feels like you're being left, or they're not with you.
Yes. Fuck.
But that's a lie, right? It's like they
It
don't
is
have
a
to
lie.
feel
You
what
know,
we're feeling.
I'm not being left.
But
I
it
mean,
feels real.
Yeah.
So you are a social creature. You like to connect with people. in
I
that way.
love people.
Yeah.
I always make jokes and I act like a dick and I make jokes about everybody. But I'm a funny dude. I like being around people.
Yeah. You're
I'm-
neighborly.
Listen.
I mean, just what happened earlier. Very
this whole
neighborhood watch over here.
But yeah, I just feel things strongly either way. If I could find a plateau where I could just like level out, that would be great.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can do that, and I don't want to.
Lexapro.
I'm not taking medication. My doctor wants me to take medication. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done with it.
Yeah, it's that yellow and orange zone we talked about of our nervous system.
Yeah.
God, we're all fucked.
But I think the more and more we become accustomed to that green zone, which is where we're going to feel very regulated and safe and stable,
Yeah,
the more
that's
we
what I
can
want.
we can tap back into it.
That's what I want.
And like from red, orange to
safe and stable.
yeah.
That's the best thing I've heard. Yeah,
Yeah,
safe and stable.
Let me ask you this, Evan. Do you think that one is in the yellow or red or orange or red? I can't remember the colors you said. When they are like on the end of the spectrum, Jonathan just described where he's like super happy and he just wants or has the expectation that everybody should be as well, and it's almost like imposing that happiness on others. I'm not saying that's what you do, but if you get to that stage, is that
Right.
is that also existing?
Well,
in
I
those?
think it would shift to the yellow or orange if he then sees someone isn't happy,
and then it impacts them negatively,
right? Because then I'm like, wait,
And then I blame that person for
right?
not being as
it's
happy
like
as
they're
You're like,
they're
you're like-
emotionally abandoning me or
Yeah.
rejecting my own experience because they're not with me.
Or you start having that sense of, which I've been guilty of in the past, where it's like, man, I was in a good mood,
And you-
and you came along with your like moping around, and you made me upset.
But when
right?
we're in a green zone,
yeah,
that person does not have the ability to do that because in emotional enmeshment, that's what happens. It becomes a seesaw, and it's super common in any relationship, especially romantic, where we kind of perceive it as our jobs to make our partner feel good. And we're sold this lie, right? It's like, oh, like the fucking love languages and shit makes me want to go beat my head against the wall.
You don't like that? What book? Who wrote that?
Whitney, come in here for a second, please.
Who wrote that? The love language book.
Oh, I don't fucking know. They made a killing though.
Yeah, we bought it. Regina and I bought it.
I mean, I'm not saying that the principles there are complete bullshit, but oh, she's actually in here.
I was just joking. I was just joking. We were talking. Get out.
Have you read the love language book?
Don't close the door.
I read it in high school, probably.
Okay.
For who, I have no idea. But
Okay.
All right, love
You're preparing
you.
yourself for this man.
I love you. Bye.
Yeah, so I don't want to josh the entire concept, because I do think, in part, it is our responsibility as a partner to be supportive and be adjusting to what they perceive their need is in the relationship, or how they feel connected, or how they feel loved. We do need to be open to that. However, when you overemphasize anything, it becomes inherently inaccurate. So when we put all this emphasis on our partner to make us feel loved, you're fucked.
Jesus Christ, you're fucking blowing my mind.
it
I'm realizing like all the shit I
Evans, I'm told
Whitney,
you.
come back in here.
No, hey, that reminds me. Regina had a couples therapist for a while that I thought was amazing, and this was early, like back when I was living in Davidson or Cornelius, one of those up by the lake. And I remember she said something to me that I feel like is along the lines of what you're saying, or at least I interpreted it this way. She said this to us during a couples therapy. She said that we should try to stop compromising and start meeting in the middle. Because she said the moment you compromise, it's like you feel like you're giving up a little bit about what's important for you, for them. You're expecting them to give up a little bit of what's important to them for you. Instead, and so they're you could be creating resentments, because it's like, I sacrificed this to compromise with you, and maybe you're not feeling like they're meeting their end of the bargain. And it's like, well, why should I compromise my own happiness or sacrifice these things? Why not find a place to meet where we can both exist in that space that's like satisfactory to each of us? And I don't know if that's exactly what you're saying, but it kind of reminded me of that, where it's like, just because I'm happy, what if you need to process some sad emotions right now? Like,
And it might not be your job
Right.
to help process that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it comes to a thing too, like so. We're gonna have to edit this out, probably, maybe.
Don't just
Okay, I'll just say, but like,
sound like Mr. Stacy Leeser there.
I know.
You're gonna have to
I
cut
know.
this out, dog.
But what hurts my feelings is this is not is when my wife will say, maybe I just need to lower my expectations.
It's probably true.
And God damn it,
I think we all need to
Whitney,
do a
get back in here.
I think we all need to do a better job.
I
of that.
agree with that sentiment too. I will say one of the best things that I learned within the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, and I don't know if this is really, I don't know, I guess it is a part of the actual literature, but about not living my life based on the expectations I have on others or on the outcome of, like, basically realizing that, like, it's not like I should have such low expectations of everyone else and just think everyone's going to fail me, everyone's going to let me down.
Yeah, you don't have
Would
to be a
that be-
doormat.
Right.
Would that be easier though?
No.
No, because then I'd be,
No?
I still think I'd be resentful, but I think it's more about realizing that I don't have the control. And so if I base my life on these expectations that they're based on how I think things should be done, then number one, I'm bound for disappointment, because no matter how much, if it has to do with my partner, with Regina, if no matter how much she tries, like, there are going to be extenuating circumstances that may or may not occur that are going to impact whether or not she meets the expectation that I have, like, it could be just, I bought a brand new car, I love my car or whatever, and it breaks down on me a week later. It's like, well, this was a brand new car, yeah, I want to get it fixed, I paid a lot of money, but, like, things are gonna happen that just are random and crazy and have nothing to do with how hard I worked at it or how much money I spent or how.
Well, hopefully they're random. They may not be random.
They may not be.
You know what I mean? That's where the problem sets in with me if they're not random.
So it's realistic expectations, not the absence of them.
Right. What's realistic to someone?
It has to be contextual, right? So
Sure,
like
nuanced.
if I think of the relationship with my parents when I got clean,
Yeah.
in retrospect, I had very unrealistic expectations as to who they could be in relation
out
to
of
me.
your parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Because I was
Coming
like,
out.
I'm doing all this growth, I'm reflecting, I'm healing. I expect them to be on the same journey,
Right.
and it was subconscious. It wasn't something that I would vocalize for years, and it brewed a lot of resentment and distance, and really like trauma reactivation. Because I had all these expectations that weren't being met,
Sure.
so it was inviting in that sense of rejection and betrayal and abandonment, and activating all of it from past experience too. So I had to like realize that, and then figure out who are they, what are they capable of. What I think they should be capable of is not a part of the equation.
Sure.
And then realizing I have to expect what they show me, not what I think they should show me. Because if I have this unrealistic expectation long term, that's how you sever relationships permanently.
Almost immediately too. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we don't talk at all anymore.
Right.
And sometimes it's both people, sometimes it's one person.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it becomes a decision, right? I think with marriage or family, when it's deep seated like that, love is a decision.
Love is a decision.
You might
that.
you might meet initially with a love and romanticized emotional experience,
Yeah.
but long term, you decide to
Yeah.
fit to be with someone. This is who they are. This is how they show up. These are their patterns. These are their defects that I wasn't
Right.
aware of, and they have to. It's a mutual decision
Right.
together, and that can create even a deeper sense of connection.
Right, like in spite of those
Yeah.
defects.
It makes it hard, but
Yeah.
but
Because that's the deepest sense of love, right? If I can be my worst self,
Oh,
and someone's
gosh.
still there,
Yeah.
there's no deeper love.
True.
Fuck you. Why are you so smart?
I'm just going on rants. I don't know. We have to play back. I may not make any sense.
All right, well, on that note, what's your next song,
Oh,
Evan Miller?
yeah. So Elliott Smith's depressing. It was emotionally trauma bonding for me.
That made me happy, actually.
Paranoia in B major, Avett Brothers.
Oh.
Oh, we've had a couple of Avett Brothers songs on this.
Yeah, not far from here.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Paranoia in B major. Pretty interesting song title.
It is.
I like it though. Is B major even a? Is that even a
key? Yeah.
Key? Is it? No. Yeah, I don't know shit about music theory.
That's okay. Every
It'd kind of be cooler if it wasn't a key.
No, but I mean, here's the thing about it, which I don't know. Think about this. So every note in the scale, you can build a key within those notes, right? So you play your major scale, minor scale, whatever. So if you're in but major implies happiness. You know, it's hopeful. It's
I know that much,
positive,
yeah.
right? So, paranoia
Is it Black Keys or White
is
Keys?
quite the opposite, right? Mm-hmm. It's a combination. B is a white key, but
What does B sound like? Is a B just a solo note? Does that sound happy or dark?
I think it could be either. It depends on how it's harmonized. So if you harmonized it with a minor third, if you made it B minor, it's gonna.
Is B a white chord or a black chord?
B is a white note. B major is going to have two black notes and a white note.
Gotcha.
So it's gonna have D sharp and F sharp.
What?
So there are a lot of black keys in the key of B major on a piano. Good job there. You okay?
Fuck this shit. Alright, hold on. Let me see if I got it. Come on.
Well, let's talk
There we
about
go.
talk about the song before we play it.
Alright.
So why did you pick Paranoia in B major?
Yeah, this band was like the backdrop of my 20s.
Yeah.
Their older music somehow illustrated what it's like to be a young male.
Mm.
Very, very accurately for me.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I mean, I grew up 20 minutes from them.
Yeah.
So like culturally very similar.
Mm-hmm.
They were raised, I think, in a Methodist church and aren't super religious now, more spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And just a lot of the undertone of family and being like a rambunctious teen.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like my rambunctious teens, they didn't stay in just teens. It was like till I was 25.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like I was the same kind of rambunctious energy
Yeah.
until around my mid 20s. And this band is, yeah, it's probably the reason I started playing guitar. I didn't start playing guitar until I was 22,
Yeah.
like at all.
And I would say,
Did you know that Jason used to live with Bob Crawford?
Yeah, he mentioned that
Okay.
a while back when
Crazy.
yeah.
yeah, and I'd say that your music is definitely influenced
Oh, yeah.
strongly by the Avery Brothers. I hear it for sure. I mean, and I always have, but like, it's
And that
stayed
goes
with
back
you.
to our similar upbringing too, where we're raised in a church in that kind of environment and being exposed to like gospel music from our grandparents and parents and the roots of the South.
Right.
And having like an acoustic guitar, it's just gonna happen.
So your dad was a pastor,
No, he was a pianist and an organist.
Oh, okay.
And music director.
music director at the church. So you grew up in the church. You might not have known that about him, but you played in the church growing up.
Yeah,
too, right?
drums.
Right. Okay. Jonathan plays drums in a church now.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it was
Every
like
Sunday.
it's pretty wild considering because I was maybe like 7
Oh
when
wow.
I started. Yeah.
Started early. we did, I don't think we started playing until we were.
I was about 12.
12, 13,
Yeah.
whatever. You started early. That's
I mean, now I
crazy.
took piano lessons at 8, 7, something like that.
Yeah.
So
for 3 years.
growing up with a piano in a home creates, I believe, this kind of innate, maybe not always, obviously not always, but this innate understanding of music theory.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like,
I can hear harmonies. People were
Mm-hmm.
like, "How do you do that?" Well, I don't know. I couldn't teach you.
right. But you just had that. It was like a part of the landscape of the environment.
Yeah, my
you grew up in.
home was just playing piano
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
Like probably prenatally as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Same
like
with
a
me.
mother singing.
Yeah, we got a piano when I was really young, and my dad didn't like nobody taught him how to play piano, but he sat down and played that piano all the time, and he could just kind of
Meander with chords. And
he
stuff.
could kind of find his way through stuff, and
He
that's
played guitar too, though.
he played guitar
Yeah.
before that, and so always hearing that from a young age, I think really it can help
It
shape.
embeds that kind of music understanding.
It becomes instilled in you. I
Yeah.
was the same way I was raised. My grandfather was a Southern Baptist minister, and my grandmother was the music director as well. And so always a piano, always singing, always playing gospel songs and all that stuff. So yeah, it gets embedded. You're right.
I think
Yeah.
that probably helps with people who have like, although I was taught some fundamental music theory, even before that, everything, and even now, I don't tap into that a lot. I consider myself more of a person who plays by ear.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I have a basic understanding of theory, but it helps with that. Like just understanding hearing it enough. You just for me, it was easier for me to, like, when I first started learning guitar or piano, to pick up the instrument and listen to a song I liked and find the chord voicings, because I just could connect with what's dissonant and what's not. And yeah, I think that plays a big role. And it's important. I think it's important to have a piano in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing about the Air Brothers in this song, it's coming back to me now. I think what happened in my 20s and listening to them and then being exposed to some interviews, it was something outside of recovery where there were males that were valuing emotional intelligence
Yeah.
and being able to communicate it and connect to it. And they're also they're very thoughtful in how they choose to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it draws you in and you buy into this like emotional validation and to be able to express it. And this is manly to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
that the cool thing about the Avery Brothers, and I never really thought about it like that, but they do present themselves in their songs and in just speaking in interviews as emotionally intelligent people, but they grew up on, I think on a farm in Concord.
Yeah, it's like contradictory.
And
in a
they
way.
look like rugged Southern boys. And yeah, so it's like a cool contrast to see. It's like, okay, well, you can be this guy that's, can get out and get his hands dirty and be a man and still tap into your emotions and do that and present yourself in that way. And it's okay.
And I suspect that they are often in green zones, going back to the colors. So it's like, wow, I think that's in part why people might have that effect of, I just want to be around this person. If you're in that kind of consistent, stable, secure, regulated state, it is inviting.
Yeah, I know people like that.
How the fuck do I get in the green zone?
We need to hang out with guys like Jeremy Smith more often. I feel like he's in the green zone
He's
all the
definitely in
time.
the green zone,
You just
yeah.
get in the same room with that guy, and you're like, wow, life is amazing.
feel safe.
Yeah.
Lights up the room.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I'll fucking turn the lights out.
Something's going on here.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but I feel awful ever since
Yeah.
Jonathan walked in the room.
He walked in. Fuck him.
He made us all sad because he was sad.
Well, let's listen to this thing.
I keep telling myself that it'll be fine. You can't make everybody happy all of the time. But I found myself in a place that I've never been, a place that I thought that I would never be. There's people looking back at me. I keep having this dream. I'm at a party. There's people throwing drinks and screaming, telling me that I don't belong. Lately life's been the same. I find this comfortable place with all my friends, and then my friends start telling me that I've always been wrong. And I'm so tired of being wrong. There was a time I could move, there was a time I could breathe. The crowded spaces filled with angry faces, it didn't once cross my mind.
Get in here. Get in here. Every time you sit down, though, you create. He's like you're somehow helping with the cross breeze. Just keep doing that. Just stand and sit.
I farted.
Okay, that's what it was.
Sorry. Whatever.
All right. So the Avett Brothers, great choice. What is your third? Do you have a third song?
Yeah.
What is your third song?
Modest Mouse.
Oh, shit.
Dramamine.
Oh, tell us why you picked this one.
Oh, it's similar to. Actually, no, that dates back further than the Elliott Smith era, because I was maybe 18 or 19 when I was introduced to Elliott Smith. Modest Mouse would have been when I was like 16, 17. I was actively using.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Modest Mouse, I don't really know what they're saying.
Right.
They don't produce their music to where you know the
Nobody
words.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what's fascinating is I don't hardly know the lyrics. I could look them up, and oftentimes they're so fucking weird. It's hard to connect to anyway.
Yep.
So it's really the way that his voice sounds, the rhythm he chooses for his melodies, and
Yeah,
then
his
obviously,
phrasing is really cool.
He's emoting even
Yeah.
without you knowing exactly what the lyrics
so
are.
he's creating emotion without the words.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a non-verbal thing, or I guess a non-word thing
Mm-hmm.
that happens. Yeah, there's something about Dramamine that was. It was memorable. It was like I had heard it before the first time I heard it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was nostalgic. It'd be like if I hadn't heard a song in 20 years and then I hear it and I think about that time. I had that experience with this song, even though it was the first time I had heard it. Just really odd.
That's great. So, but you were actively using
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this was 15 years ago
Yeah.
ish.
At least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of that comes to me too, like when you and I were using a lot. When I listen to songs, it brings me right back to using.
Mm-hmm. But
Not necessarily a bad way,
Right.
though. It's just like I remember what we were doing, how I felt,
Mm-hmm.
what was going on around me. And so songs like that, when you're using, I've realized that they mean a lot to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've picked some of my songs too that are like when I was in the depths.
Mm-hmm.
So that's funny that you picked this song too. I wonder if that's a thing.
Well, in this, I have music that's nostalgic to using, but I'm saying in this case, the first time I heard it, it felt nostalgic.
As if it had
You've
been
heard it
something,
before.
but you hadn't yet. I think that is a thing that like,
Because it took me to some place that was before then,
Yeah.
and my mind kind of misconnected as if I had heard it.
But do you think that was in the writing and that they were like calling back to some of their own influences within the song and you were sort of picking up on those things? I think,
Yeah, maybe.
yeah.
Like subconsciously in a way.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's really effective writing when you're able to do that. It's like it feels really familiar to the listener. They don't quite know why. They've never heard it before.
Yeah, I'm not trying to figure out if I like it or not.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm
this
not
is just,
diagnosing it.
Right. It's just something that feels like it has always been here.
It's like,
and
oh, this should be here, and it's
Yeah.
been with me even though I haven't ever experienced it.
Yeah. I love that. I've definitely experienced that with music.
Do you have a song? Can you name one?
A song that's done that for me?
You're gonna name a Dylan song.
There's a song I wrote called. As soon as I wrote it, I was like, "This song has been around for all eternity."
It sounds familiar. It's really
Can we just
weird.
at some point just talk about how much we love our own music?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, we don't need to blow up his head any more than it's already blown up.
Dude, after I've released something, I have listened to it so much, I don't ever want to listen to it fucking again.
It takes a while. I'll listen to it a lot at first, and then I have to take a break. But then it's like
I'm the same way. I
Yeah.
have to take a break, and then I'll come back to it.
We've been, you might have seen our posts. We've been like, we got together with our old bass player from the Noises 10 and talking about doing some, playing together again
Yeah,
soon.
sick.
And so I went back and listened to the old stuff we did, and now,
Oh, that's
this
been
many
enough
years
time.
later,
Yeah.
it's like, wow, and I can really appreciate it in a totally different way. I feel I can be more objective listening to it now.
Oh yeah, your ears aren't tired of it.
And not just my ears aren't tired of it, but I'm not that person that's so emotionally connected to, is this good or not? Will it be
Right.
accepted or not? Like, I don't care. It's come and gone. And now it's like, I can listen to it objectively and just really appreciate it for a song, almost as if it was written by somebody else, But yeah, there's like that period where you're just, God, if I ever have to hear this again.
Well, it's like you've just birthed and don't want to have sex for a while.
Yeah.
It's like, I need a fucking break.
It's exactly like
Yeah.
that.
It's like,
Wait,
fuck,
what'd you
dude.
say?
It's like I've just given birth and don't want to have sex for a while.
Right.
All right. That's your life.
Well, with songwriting, in my experience, there's, obviously, or not obviously, maybe to some, but initially there's not words as much. It's a melody or some feeling I'm trying to portray, and then it gradually gets constructed into words, and then like structure may come naturally, or I might have to reorganize, and then I'm listening as a full demo, and then I'm producing all these different elements to create this energy I'm trying to convey, and then I'm listening over and over again to then make adjustments. So by the time I've released something,
Yep.
I have like listened to it, I don't even know,
Yeah.
hundreds of times,
You've pushed all the buttons,
And I'm
you
like-
keep pushing them, and it's yeah.
and then I just get done. I'm like, I don't want to listen to this.
Yeah.
I get that.
And you're listening to it in a way that nobody else has, because it's like, every little nuance.
Yeah, it's hard to
minutia.
assess your own work. I mean, as
Yeah.
a painter, a musician,
Yeah.
any kind of art form, it's really hard to assess your own work.
Well, when I do a session with Jason, I tell you the day of. I'm like, send it to me so I can listen to it. If it's fucked up, then I'll come redo it. But after that, I don't really listen to it. I just want the initial, like, got it in my ear, and then
yeah, for tracking and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep. So
Dude, tracking drums is hard.
yeah, I'm gonna retire soon.
It's fucking hard, dude. I mean, great. I don't play outside. I've only played drums at the studio, trying to just put something on my.
Oh, your shit
on
sounds
my
great,
music.
man.
It's basic stuff.
That sounds great.
But it's like, man, just not playing and then having like this track beep or whatever it's called.
track, yeah.
Click track.
yeah,
I'm like,
that's my
man,
whole life.
I suck. I'm trying to do a drum fill and I've never heard a click track. Like, we didn't do that when I was growing up.
Yeah.
We just did a drum fill and it kind of worked and
Yeah.
then we moved on. But with a
It's-
click track, you're like, I cannot do a drum fill without getting off beat.
Yeah, studio stuff is a lot different than live playing.
You have to kind of
especially
like
to a click
play
track,
like
yeah.
lagged. It feels
Yeah.
like I'm late,
You
but I'm
drag it.
actually on.
That's cool though. That's cool if you're late. That sometimes that's a thing that I try to do, and it's very difficult for me because I always play to a click
Yeah.
track, but like kind of laying back and getting that feel is
It's hard.
that's where it's at.
Because if I try to stay on a track, I'm early.
yeah.
I'm never late.
You're rushing.
I'm early.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm on time, but I'm actually 5 minutes early.
You can't blame yourself for that, man.
Very
That's-
punctual.
Traveling, swallowing, drumming, feeling space, breathing out Listerine. I'd said what I'd tell you. That's something better. If you could just milk it for everything. I'd said what I said, and you know what I mean. But I still can't.
They did have a resurgence in the 2000s where they became really popular again. Like it was, and I guess maybe that was when Johnny Marr joined the band. I mean, that's what I remember just hearing about Modest Mouse all the time again. I'm like, man, that was a band like from when I was a kid, that I didn't really hear about anymore.
Well, it was Float On, that was their big hit.
Yeah.
And then after but their fans are diehard though, so
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's good shit.
I think I saw some. It wasn't MTV Cribs. He definitely wasn't on that.
Right.
But it was some, other version of that. And he showed his house. And he had all these fucking stuffed weird animals in there.
like what do you call it when you have like
Like at Texas Steakhouse or something.
right. What is that called when you have you like
I was gonna
you're
say
hunting and you kill a boar and you put the head up on the wall? What do they call
Like
that?
taxidermy?
taxidermy.
Oh yeah.
And his voice talking sounds similar to his singing
How he
voice.
sings, yeah,
And
yeah.
he has like a weird lisp kind of.
We should do a Cribs episode of our houses.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't want to do it right now because there's shit going on in there, but we should do one.
You can always find the place to say, "This is where the magic happens."
This is where the magic happens.
Well-
right
That's
here.
one of the things you have to do.
Pick a room.
Yeah. Oh shit.
That's what
You
I'm
remember
talking.
MTV Cribs? Everyone would always say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
This
jump
is where
on
the
the bed.
magic happens.
Jump on. Listen, I got rose petals on that bed right now.
For me or Jason?
Who cares?
Whoever shows up.
Yeah. Whoever gets in there
Who
first.
hops in first?
First come, first serve.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh shit. All right. Well, do we have any closing thoughts? Anything that we need to discuss here before we wrap this
I do.
episode?
I have something to say.
Okay. What is it?
And so, what I'm going to say, first of all, Evan, I want to thank you. I love you, brother. We've hung out many, many times. You've taught me a lot about myself, but I don't feel any better about myself.
He feels worse.
So, fuck you.
You gotta fix that part.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on For the Birds. I feel like shit. But I'm going to get well.
Yeah.
And it's going to be because of you.
Yeah,
But
you
I
gotta
appreciate it. You're full of knowledge, man. You're funny. You're a good dude, man. I don't like how young you are.
And you
You
were
have
nowhere-
really nice skin, too, and that pisses me
He's
off,
handsome.
too.
Look at this guy.
I got more stuff to say. I
Keep going.
have the fucking mic,
Keep
Keep
man.
going. You've got
Right,
the
right.
conch, Piggy.
I've got the kind. Jason has benefited a bunch from you. He talks about you all the time and how good of a friend you are and how you've helped him through hard times and you're helping other people through hard times. You didn't fucking help me,
Keep talking to him. He'll get you there.
Well, maybe
Gotta break you down first.
All right.
That's
Listen,
right.
It's like jerking the covers off in the morning.
God, dog. But thank you for being on For the Birds.
That was fun. I really like talking about this stuff with people that are receptive and curious about it, which is not as easy a thing to find.
That's true. That's true. Well,
How do I get past my ego? Like how do
It's a
I
big question.
how do I not feel like I'm the smartest person in the room?
Hang around people that you think are smarter than you.
That's not gonna fucking happen.
Well, I've always tried to surround myself with people that I deem smarter than myself.
I think that's a good way to go, because it's like, if you're the smartest person in every room, you got nothing to learn. How do you expect to get to a better place than you are?
I don't even know what you just said.
Well, if you're hanging out with people that are
So
dumber,
maybe you're not the smartest in this room. You just think you are.
if you're the smartest person in every room, you're just hanging out with people who are dragging you down. You got to hang out with people who
You
are
want people
smarter,
that
have
are
something who challenge
challenging
you.
intellectually.
I like being challenged.
Yeah.
I mean, and you seem like that kind of guy. And
Wait a minute. You and I are in a lot of rooms together.
I'm the smartest motherfucker in there. What are you talking about?
Maybe this is that blind spot in the Jahari window we're talking about.
I got some tunnel vision going on, don't I? Fuck.
No, you are a smart fella.
Oh God.
All right. Well, Evan, thanks for being on. I love you, brother. We've been talking about having you on for a while, so I'm glad we got to work it out. And now you've got to get us on the
Tell me about your mother.
Tell Me About Your Mother
Dude,
podcast.
yeah.
Evan's got a great podcast, Tell Me About Your Mother. I've been checking it out for a long time. And where they talk about therapy and I mean, you guys go down a lot of different rabbit holes, but it's coming from the perspective of two therapists.
Yeah, we'll conceptualize some of our experiences in the moment with clients. We'll talk about like family systems, emotional wounds, attachment, and EMDR. She's very well versed in the EMDR protocol. So
Yeah,
when I was
that's
talking
cool
about like the red, yellow, green stuff, that's a lot of which I've learned from her.
Yeah.
About the nervous system. But it's a lot of fun, and we're hoping to bring a lot more therapy to the ether of internet that is more long form and less about just hearing something that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
I think
Hell
we're
yeah.
saturated with that with all types of social media, including therapy.
Well, the millions of For the Birds fans are now going to find out
Yeah.
about you. And so
it's like I've entered the Joe Rogan
That's
sphere
right,
of-
man.
I'm like, I made it now.